Good evening, ladies and gents. This is a video I'm going to be doing semi-often, more of a reaction video. That way I can get some good content out of it. I watch a few headlines every day, not too long, usually only 5 or 10 minutes at most. Don't want to be obsessing with my life with news too much, but I like to stay relatively informed. There's a couple headlines today that I would like to provide my thoughts on. First, I guess we'll start with... to call this a softball. This would usually be big news, but in light of a couple other things worth bringing up, but not necessarily the biggest thing today, Trump's going to be creating a quick reaction force using the National Guard, and it's concerning on just a general tyranny level, because even if I'm very hesitant to say this with his current record, I am hesitantly optimistic that Trump won't use that for something stupid. But to say that, first off, I don't trust any of the people who come after him to, and also it establishes a dangerous precedent. Don't get me wrong, I want crime off our streets as well, and that's going to require some draconian methods. But I don't know if Trump is the man to do that, for reasons I think most people can probably make a guess at, especially related to his lack of file releases and what motivations he might have for that. But hopefully, at least in the short term, that's a good thing. But long term, I am skeptical and a bit worried, especially once we start getting to different presidents. Also, with Trump and his executive orders, they've expanded the number of student visas we're going to bring in from China, like doubling it to 600,000. What the hell? Seriously though, Trump ran on deporting people. Yeah, I get legal immigration, yada, 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 yada. They really like to bring that up. But we're preparing for war with the Chinese. They're an adversary state. Why would we be expanding the number of people we're bringing in from there on student visas? That makes no strategic sense. It's a very poorly kept secret that a lot of them serve as Chinese spies for espionage to infiltrate our institutions. We're on the eve of a potential conflict with these people, and Trump's bringing in more of them? That makes no sense at all, whatsoever. Why would you do that? On top of that, considering the 55 million people we already have potentially holding visas and potentially here right now, why are we giving out more visas? It makes no sense. That's got to stop. He's got to be called out for his crap. Obviously, Trump's saying that, well, that's good for us. No, it's not. First off, it violates what you were running on. And secondly, how does that benefit Americans? Really? How does that actually benefit Americans? You're willing to bring in more foreigners to have them go to college, but heaven forbid we do something to improve the college situation for Native American. When I say Native, I mean Americans already living here. For Americans, let's just keep it simple. Heaven forbid we improve that for Americans. The cost of our universities is insanely high. And to add insult to injury, oftentimes you can't really get a job with one of those degrees, especially if you do something that's in the humanities. For the record, some of that is deserved. Gender studies is stupid. But a lot of the legitimate humanities, like philosophy or history, which used to be employable, about 30 or 40 years ago, have a very hard time finding jobs now. Why not unpack that box, Trump? Finally, in the UK, which it's worth bringing up because, again, they're kind of a nice little microcosm. What's going on in the UK very potentially will start happening here soon if it's not already happening. A young girl over there was arrested for brandishing a knife while trying to defend herself and her little sister from the advances of a migrant man who was videotaping the whole incident. Both of those girls were underage, and the British government saw fit to arrest the girl for self-defense. I haven't heard if they've arrested that migrant man or not. That's ridiculous, and it's disgusting. Especially if we take a more Hobbesian view of natural rights, so, the more state view of rights. The one right the state can never truly take away from you. Certainly, there might be consequences, but the one right the state can never truly take away from you is the right to defend yourself. She was exercising that right and exercising it in a way that I think most people would deem as pretty dang justified. And the British government arrested the girl. If that doesn't paint for you where that government's priorities are, I really don't know what will. And I hope the necessary people and the necessary places take that to heart. And I pray, I can almost guarantee you that unless something changes here in the U.S., that might start happening here soon. Especially once we change presidents. And even then, considering Trump's immigration record right now, I'm not bullish. Let's just put it that way. I pray it doesn't happen here, but I wouldn't bet money on it not happening here. In fact, I bet you it's already happened in some cases. It just rarely gets to the news because we're not meant to see it. America needs to wake up. Like, actually wake up. This isn't the public forum of public ideas. We're not exchanging ideas with these people. They are exchanging blows with us, and we think talking it out with them is going to fix our problems. Where that train of logic goes, I'll leave to the audience. But America, we need to do something. My bet is it would have to come from within the Republican Party. But this is ridiculous. Why are people tolerating this sort of stuff? I pray for the UK, like I said in my first video I made. I really hope that they can get over this hurdle. But it makes me scared for the U.S. because if it's happening there, it's either already happening here or it may be happening here very soon. Honestly, again, bringing up an example from that prior video, the child trafficking ring that was kind of canned by the news in Omaha. That might provide enough precedent that perhaps the government's doing similar things here, even under Trump. So, ladies and gents, do with that knowledge what you will. Have a blessed evening. Thank you for listening to me. I'll begin working on a better introduction and outro. You all have a good evening. If you're listening to me, I hope that either you agree with what I'm saying, or if you want to have honest discussion, I am more than happy to talk. I'm more than happy to defend my ideas, and honestly, if I'm wrong, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I am not open to, I'm not closed to debate. I should say, I misspoke. I actually enjoy good, lively debate. If anything, it encourages me that people who disagree with me still have a modicum of intelligence if they can actually hold debate with me and not get emotional. So, please, go nuts in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe. If you disagree with me, tell me your actual thoughts about me. It's the internet, so I'm not going to take it to heart. If you agree with me, comment that too. Go ham. Good evening and good night.